This video is brought to you by Unseasoned. Go subscribe to Unseasoned and check out their exclusive and insightful interviews with females on dating, relationships, and preferences. They get straight to the point and ask the questions that's on every guy's mind. I'll also leave a link in the description.
I feel like I need that age gap because guys are definitely very immature.
Linger a little bit. Maybe take a little sip of your drink, giggle, look away.
And he's like, yeah, reservation for 2. And the woman looks up his name. She's like, sir, that reservation's for tomorrow.
Frank Lowell Williams, born February 25th, 1980. Today's feature is the epitome of a forgotten gem. I fell in love with his game coming up and watching college basketball because of how carefree and second nature his game seemed to be. He never appeared to take the game too serious, but in a good way. It's funny because he actually reminds me of another player with these same characteristics, Gilbert Arenas, who's actually younger than Frank, but came in and occupied the very spot I think Frank Williams could have. And that's a very important word that ran through my head when researching Mr. Williams. Some features like my last in Penny Hardaway or Derrick Rose, you think, wow, if not for injuries, he would have. Or a guy like Emmanuel Mudiay, who you think should have. But in Frank's case, he could have been such a bigger star than he was. Why wasn't he? Let's get into it. Salute to my man Jimmy Jones for this request. Appreciate you for reminding me of this one, fam. Appreciate all you guys. I just want to say, in these times we're living in right now, you can't help but learn to appreciate the people that support you in any way, whether giving a view or leaving a like or even subscribing, which I understand isn't easy to do, man. I know how it is. So thank you sincerely. For my new viewers, if you would, please hit the like button. It helps us get these videos more traction and can help more things to happen on the channel, like giveaways and more of these featured guys to respect what we do. And who knows, maybe come out of their space and give your boy an interview, which is the goal. So like, subscribe, notification gang, let's get into it. It's your boy JC Stunted Growth. Let's get it, man. Stunt number 1, maybe it's you. Maybe. An important lesson I learned over the course of my life that's helped me to grow as an objective thinker is that when things start to go wrong for the same reason or close to it, you have to take a step back, look in the mirror, and ask yourself if you're the problem. Nothing wrong with that. In fact, the sooner you realize that maybe it is, the sooner and easier it is to fix the problem. It's hard to get people to change and be who you envision them being, but it's easy to change yourself if you really want that. In my opinion, after researching Frank, that's where his first stunt came. He lacked consistency in his effort, and it caused him a few crucial opportunities. Obviously, as we'll see in the last stunt, he was still able to see a lot of success in his field, but like mentioned earlier, he could have been occupying the same spot of one of the best guards in Gilbert Arenas has occupied until he himself succumbed to his stunted growth. Williams is from Peoria, Illinois, and was a star in high school for a program that won 4 straight state championships, with Williams being a part of their final 2. As a senior in 1998, he was the Illinois Mr. Basketball and was even a McDonald's All-American. Don't get me wrong, this guy was nice, and you don't get that way by not working hard or putting in the time and effort. I'm never accusing a guy that accomplished as much as he did of being lazy and not giving it his all, because with the type of game I had, the same was said about me and I didn't understand it. My point is that this was the perception at times, and I'll explain why. He would choose to stay close to home and accept an offer from Illinois, where he showed flashes of being a star and was an intricate part of the program from day one. As a freshman, he averaged 11 points a game, 3 rebounds, 4 assists, and played all but 10 minutes a game. He was the team's second leading scorer in his freshman year. By his second season, he was the Big Ten Player of the Year, team leader, and a star in the making, averaging 14.9 points a game, 4 assists a game, and 2 steals a game for a second year in a row. He took his team to the Elite Eight that season, But in his junior season, he didn't rise to the level many expected him to and began to be criticized by some, most notably CBS's Bill Packer for his lackadaisical play and not giving effort at all times. It would be the first but not the last time he'd be accused of this, and I think it was a bit unfair because that's obviously the way his play style is. The game seems easy for Frank, and he never showed much emotion, but that was the jacket placed on him that would show up again later in important times. It didn't help that in an interview later on, he admitted to as much when he was asked about playing all out on the floor. He said, "I picked my spots in the game." Horrible answer, but wouldn't be his last bad decision. Stunt number 2, New York loves guards. With the team's success in his sophomore year, Frank returned to Illinois for his junior season. He was expected to take the jump from being the player of the year prior to a star and take his team deep in the tournament. For the most part, he was still a nice player as a junior, and some still say he was a star, but the team fell in the third round of the tournament, and Frank averaged only 16 points a game that season when he was expected to do a lot more, being one of the team's only scorers and having a coach in Bill Self who absolutely loved Williams. He averaged virtually the same amount of everything that year and decided to leave for the NBA draft, where he was taken 25th overall in the first round. Many speculate that he could have been taken sooner had he not been labeled lazy and had a little better junior year. He was taken by the New York Knicks, a team that's been looking for their franchise point guard what seems like forever, since Walt Frazier in the 60s and 70s. Frank stepped into a team with solidified star wings in Latrell Sprewell and Allen Houston, also point guards in Charlie Ward and Howard Isley, whom I think he could have and should have beat out had he improved like he was expected to. For whatever reason, he didn't and only played 8 minutes a game that season. In his second NBA season with the Knicks, he saw a little more time, playing 12 minutes a game, but only averaging 3 points, 2 assists, not shooting well, and not looking like the Knicks had found their guy. Midway through that season, the team decided to trade for Stephon Marbury, and Frank's minutes were cut significantly, and he was sent to the end of the bench. The team also had guards Penny Hardaway, Shandon Anderson, Isley, Houston, Moochie Norris, and Charlie Ward. With Marbury, the hometown kid, and Claire Bessa, the bunch of point guards, Frank was done in NY. He was then traded to his hometown team in the offseason, where he was expected to finally get his shine. Stunt number 3, the final straw. The final stunt for Williams was a huge disappointment for many, and I'm sure himself. When things go wrong and it's due to a result you could have controlled, always sting the deepest. The Bulls were excited to acquire Frank Williams for all he'd done in the city of Chicago as an amateur and expected him to compete with guard Kirk Heinrich for the starting job. A job, if he played anything close to his ability, could have been in the bag for the Chicago product. But as training camp rolled around, Williams showed up out of shape in a very important third year for Frank, with the team in position to pick up or not pick up his option. He spent the majority of the season on the injured reserve and barely played for his hometown team, appearing in just 9 games at 7 minutes a game, averaging 0 points and basically 0 everything across the board. Many attribute this to his laziness that first appeared in college. Maybe Billy Packer saw something and was right, even though he was criticized highly for his comments. This happening a second time only showed that Frank Williams wasn't as serious about his career as most thought he should have been, given the opportunities to be successful he had. Some say the trade to his hometown team was the worst thing that could have happened for a person like Frank, that all he knew was Illinois, and being around the same crowd, now with the money and success of an NBA first-round pick, brought demons and distractions Williams just couldn't deny. He was waived by the Bulls after the season. On October 1st, 2005, he was signed by the Clippers and released 4 days later. He wouldn't see another game in the NBA. 86 games, that's all Frank Williams, the highly touted guard from one of the toughest cities to make it out of, lasted in the league. He played in the D-League and overseas thereafter, and dealt with some legal issues that we won't speak on here, and that was pretty much the last time we'd hear of one of my favorite guard styles in the late 90s, early 2000s. All in all, success is a serious thing. It comes through being prepared and working hard, and sometimes it comes by what they call luck. However it comes, it's only kept when you work to keep it. Frank was a great talent, but it seems he didn't always work to hone that talent. Salute to him, still much respect. It's your boy JC Stunted Growth.